What's up guys, this is Josh here from Blender Bros, and in this video I want to show you 3 different ways to basically add a hole in a cylinder or a hole in a curved surface. Now in Blender this is unfortunately difficult to do, so I'm going to show you like 3 different methods that you can use. So first of all, yes, I know you can use CAD. I know there's going to be somebody commenting, but this isn't a CAD tutorial, this is a Blender tutorial. So I'm going to go here to cylinder. And the first method has to do with just using literally a Boolean, nothing else, just a Boolean modifier. Now, if we're just using Booleans and bevels, we're not going to be using a sub-D workflow, which means we need to start with a higher resolution to begin with. So I'm going to put the vertex count here to 64 because I find 64 is around enough. Then I'm going to go here to shade auto smooth, and I'm just going to scale this up by 2 maybe. And then I'll just duplicate this. I'll rotate it 45 degrees, scale this down a bit, and then just position it over here somewhere. And I'm just going to run a union Boolean on these 2 objects together like this. Now for this method, most likely you're not concerned with the topology, you're only concerned with the shading. So to fix the shading here, you can kind of see it stretch like all the way up to the top and all the way down to the bottom. So what we can actually do here is we can just add in a loop here. We can add in a loop here to isolate the shading. You can see it's much more manageable now. And then we just add in a bunch of segments right here to basically make it unnoticeable. We're going to do the same thing over here on this cutter object. We can add in some loops. And you're just going to see that cleans up everything very nicely. And alternatively, you could literally just go into the main object here and just add in, let me undo this. You could literally just go in and add in a bunch of loops this way as well. I know the topology isn't clean, but you wouldn't use this workflow if you need clean topology. This would be for like renders or 3D printing or anything like that. So again, we're going to do that on the main object, and we're also going to do that on the Boolean object. I'm going to come in here, add in some loop cuts to this area. And basically by doing this, if I apply this Boolean modifier, what this has done is it's basically added in very, very tiny isolation areas. So the only areas with shading issues are going to be here where we have the triangles and the n-gons on the curved surface. All these areas here, it's clean. It's not bent, it's clean. You're not going to have a shading error over there. So you can kind of see the result we got in this area. Now the downside here is if I try to add in a bevel, it's not going to work. It's just going to collapse, and that's not good. So to fix this, you would want to use something like Mesh Machine. So I could actually go in here, I could use the Mesh Machine add-on, I could go to Offset Cut, increase the width. What this will do is it will basically eat the surrounding geometry, as you can see here. And then I just go in, I add in a bevel like that, and I have a pretty simple transition on the object here. It isn't super clean, but again, if you need something perfect, I'm going to show you the other methods as well. So the next way we can do this is with a sub-D workflow. So I'm going to add in a cylinder. I'm going to change the segment count to 16. The reason we want to go lower is because with a sub-D workflow, the resolution is going to increase as a result of using that sub-D, okay? So I'm going to scale this up by 2. I'm going to apply the scale, and here what we would do is we would basically come in, we would add in some segments like this, more or less, and then I can use a tool like Loop Tools, for example, which comes with Blender. Maybe add in one more segment here. And what I could do is I could take maybe this portion, expand the selection, use the Loop Tools feature here in Blender, turn off the flatten button so it's not flattening the object. And then all I have to do here is basically I could inset this, I could, extrude this back, inset this again, add some isolation loops in here. If I wanted to, I could even, cut all the way through. And then all I have to do is add in a sub-D, maybe 2 or 3 on the resolution. I'll delete out the top and bottom faces here so we can see it better. And that's a very simple way to get a hole on a curved surface as well. Now, one additional tip I want to show you here is notice it's a little bit, the shading's fine, but it's not like perfect. If you want to get this even cleaner, what you can actually do here, it's a pretty cool trick. You can add in another cylinder. Put this to actually we'll keep it at 16. We're going to scale this by 2. I'm going to delete out the top and the bottom caps here. I'll add in the same resolution for the sub-D. I'll shade that smooth, and basically I'll increase that as well. basically what I can do here is I can go to these outer selections. Just select this outer portion. Let me deselect the inside as well. As a matter of fact, I'll just go in and just select this area manually. What you can actually do here is you can add a vertex group. You can assign that vertex group. Then what you can do is you can shrink wrap it. So I could go in here to the deform shrink wrap tool, choose the vertex group, and then choose the other cylinder right here. And that'll actually shrink wrap it and fix the shading even more. And you can actually go in here and you want to apply the subd first, and then you could apply the shrink wrap, and you're actually going to have a much more clean transition basically. So that's like the second and most straightforward way to do it. And the third way is where you use a Boolean and then you retopologize and then you use a subd workflow. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. We're not going to increase the resolution because here we're still going to be using a subd. I'm going to scale this up by 2 more or less, and then I'm just going to, let me change to a different mat cap so it's easier to see. Then I'll just duplicate this, maybe rotate it, scale it, and what I can do is I can go in here, I can, position this, and maybe I'll just go in and reduce the segments here a bit, just so it's easier to join everything together. So this one and then this one. Then I'll just press Control X to dissolve that out. And then I'll just kind of position this where the vertices are going to intersect, like right here, more or less. And then I just go in, I can run my union Boolean or whatever I'm using. And then basically if I apply that Boolean, I'll just delete these out real quick. I can go in and just retopologize. So I could go here, join this up. I could go, let me merge these together. I could go here and then merge this one up as well. We'll just symmetrize over, do the same thing here. Join, let me merge these together. If I can actually get them selected. So merge these together here and then join this up and just symmetrize this to the other side. Now you want to make sure that these are roughly square, more or less the same size. You don't want this to be like, for example, like different sizes. You want to keep these as even as possible. And then I could go in here and I could add in like a loop to hold it up here and then a loop up here on the top as well. And now if I just add in my subd modifier, this is another way to do it as well. And for example, if I want to kind of control the transition between the surfaces, I could actually go in here. I could add in like a bevel, for example. So if I go in, maybe I add in a chamfer, you're going to kind of see what that chamfer does, and make sure you're not selecting the wrong areas here. So I could go in, I could add in a chamfer, and you're going to see that chamfer basically tightens things up pretty easily. And then I could also go in here and I could add in like 2 segments. That'll tighten things up even more. So if I undo that and then redo it, it's even more of a transition here. And then if you want to, control the transition even more, you would basically have to go in and, let's say I just did a single segment. I would probably need to go in here and just remove some of these or slide these down so the transition's a bit better. And, I could even go in here. I could slide that over a bit. I could slide this over a bit. That'll just keep a cleaner transition on the surface, and in my opinion, it just looks better. So you can see like very, very easily how these different methods are going to yield very different results. And I could increase the subd even further, turn off cavity, and it's very easy to do. I know it's a bit annoying compared to like a CAD software, but these are the best solutions to doing this inside of Blender. Maybe I could add in like a solidify modifier now. Shade auto smooth, and you kind of get the idea here. So that's it, guys. That is how you would add a hole into a curved surface in Blender. There's like 3 main methods to doing that. It's not limited to those, but these are the main ones you would use, especially if you're a beginner. So hopefully that was useful to you. That's it for today's video. If you want to learn our entire hard surface modeling workflow in Blender in under 2 weeks, like all of our students have done here, literally thousands, check out our Hard Surface Accelerator program below. It's going to teach you the full workflow. It's going to teach you all the tools we use, our design principles, how to render, literally the entire workflow in under 2 weeks. And again, that program will be linked in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.